And call for the roll call.
Directors Sethi,
Here.
Akbari,
Here.
Gunther,
Here.
Huang,
Here.
Lathi,
Here.
and Weed.
Here. You know, this calls for, on the agenda, it says a salute to the flag. We had one earlier with the pre-meeting, and then we're going into another. So I believe we have, unless there is an objection, dispense with an additional salute to the flag and move into the agenda. So turn it to staff and John Wunderlich, our finance director, and he's leading the meeting with the Finance Authority.
Great. Thank you, President.
Before you go on there, you should ask if there's any public comments. That is a requirement for public meetings.
All right. At this time, is there anyone in the public who wishes to comment to the board? I see none, so we will return it again to John Wunderlich.
Great. Thank you, President Weed. Again, my name is John Wunderlich. I am the Director of Finance at the Alameda County Water District and serve as Treasurer of the Alameda County Water District Financing Authority. And so on behalf of the Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome the public's participation in this annual meeting of the Authority. The Authority is a joint powers authority between the district and Union Sanitary District and was created to facilitate the issuance of revenue bonds to fund water district capital projects. The authority issued bonds in 2012 and 2015. Although I do not see any members of the public at this time, just in case any join us, in terms of making public comments, this meeting is being conducted online and by teleconference. So persons who wish to make public comments can so indicate by raising your hand in the Zoom app, submitting your comments or questions in the chat feature in Zoom, or by speaking up verbally during public comment portions of the meeting. When making public comments, please be sure to unmute your own phone line or computer microphone so you may be heard. And to provide the best audio quality for all attendees, please remain on mute except when making comments. So with that quick introduction, President Weed, I think the first item for the Authority Board this evening is the consent calendar, and I'd be happy to address any questions on those items.
Do we have a motion for the consent calendar?
I'll make the motion to adopt the consent calendar as it is.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. I note that we have a member of the public who appears to have just signed in. We had opened it up for public comments earlier. Is there any comment by a member of the public? If not, then we will continue on and call for the roll call on the consent calendar.
Okay, Directors Sethi,
Yes, I approve.
Akbari,
Aye.
Gunther,
Aye.
Huang,
Aye.
Lathi,
Yes.
and Weed.
All right. We have staff reports, beginning with Assembly Bill 361.
Yeah, President Weed, members of the board and public, this first item relates to holding meetings virtually. So the Financing Authority did hold its 2021 public board meeting virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic and in order to maximize social distancing and community and participant safety. In order to continue to hold meetings virtually, the board must make certain findings pursuant to Assembly Bill 361 and continue to reaffirm these findings every 30 days until it is deemed safe to return to in-person public board meetings. So the recommendation is by motion, adopt a resolution making findings pursuant to Assembly Bill 361 that the proclaimed state of emergency continues to impact the ability to meet safely in person. I'd be happy to answer any questions on this item.
Is there any, Director Sethi?
Yes, Mr. Wunderlich, does this mean we need to meet every 30 days for this financing authority?
So on the next item, it's going to be proposed that we have schedule additional meetings in February and March, and those would all be within 30 days of each other. They'd all be 28 days apart.
Okay.
I do have a question.
What an encumbrance from the governor down to all these public agencies.
I have a question for council.
Please.
Why is this item titled staff report, not action calendar? We are taking action, right?
So it is staff report, action calendar items. It's all lumped under one. So-
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. I would note that, and we should look at the editing of our format and the formatting of our report. Next, there was a comment made in an email by the JPIA that the governor may have signed some documents last week related to COVID, extending some of the online authority. And I would encourage us to research that. So at this time then, since we're online, we would require a roll call vote, do we not?
Yes, we need a motion and a second and then a roll call vote.
I'll move item 5.1.
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Please vote.
Directors Sethi,
Aye.
Akbari,
Aye.
Gunther,
All right.
Huang,
Aye.
Luffy,
Aye.
Weed.
Aye. Next is a resolution modifying the date and time for regular meetings of the Board of Directors. I trust that would that be a separate motion based on the agenda?
Yes, yeah. So, and I'm happy to introduce this item right now.
All right.
So the bylaws of the Financing Authority authorize it to update its meeting schedule by board resolution. Traditionally, the authority meets annually on the second Thursday of January at 5:55 p.m., just before the regular January board meeting of the Alameda County Water District. However, when warranted due to a planned debt issuance, more frequent meetings may be scheduled, as was done during the authority's last debt issuance in 2015. A debt issuance is planned for early in 2022 to 1, refund the authority's 2012 bonds, and 2, if needed because the state revolving fund loan is determined not to be in the best interest of the district, issue new money to fund a portion of the district's advanced metering infrastructure project. And just to provide a little more background, we did receive an unfavorable determination on a wage issue regarding our SRF loan. So kind of staff's expectation is there's a very good chance we'll want to add some new money to this process in place of the SRF loan. We're hoping to get some resolution on an appeal to that determination within the next couple of weeks. And so the motion or the recommendation is by motion, approve a resolution setting the second Thursday of each month at 5:30 p.m. as the date and time of regular meetings of the Alameda County Water District Financing Authority. And I would expect that we would only need to do that in February and March. And then at the March meeting, we'd be able to reset the annual meeting schedule on the second Thursday of January. So I'd be happy to take any questions on this item.
A quick clarification, SRF is a state revolving fund.
Correct.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the board? There being none,
I do.
oh, please.
I have a
Angela.
question.
Yes.
Could you explain a little bit more about what you're referring to, this unfavorable determination? I've never heard of that before.
So there are certain prevailing wage requirements with the state revolving fund. And while the state signed off on our proposed wages, the federal government has made a different determination that would significantly increase the project cost. And so in lieu of spending that extra money, it would be in the district's best interest to instead fund the project with regular bonds instead of through the state revolving fund program.
Mr. Wunderlich, just to add to Director Anjali comments, I don't understand if we're paying prevailing wages that are in accordance with California law, how could we differ so greatly with the federal government requirements?
I think that's something that's, you know, where the federal agency is able to make its own determination, and I think it's disagreed with the level of skill that we in the state think is needed to perform the work in this project.
If I could jump in, the item on the agenda is modifying the date and time of regular meetings. This might be something that we would provide a more detailed report on at the next authority meeting when we actually be talking about the bonds.
Well, thank you. That is a matter of interest and something we can possibly discuss also at the Finance Committee meeting, even though it's a joint authority. So thank you. Do we have a motion related to the changing of the schedule, adding meetings to the schedule?
I'll move the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Is there any further comment or is there any public comment? There being none, roll call, please.
Director Sethi,
Aye.
Akbari,
Aye.
Gunther,
Aye.
Huang,
Aye.
Lutfi,
Aye.
and Weed.
Hi. Do we have any other items to being brought to this group?
That's the last item on the agenda.
I see no comments from the public, but if there's any member of the board who wishes to make a comment, now would be the time.
Thank you.
Being- Please,
Good seeing you again.
thank you.
Thank you. Good. Okay, bye-bye.
Goodbye. Then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.